Prepare for Nerdgasm. Hey, what's up, Nerdgasm fans? I got another video for you guys today. This is something I've been wanting to review for a while. I haven't even taken it out of the box. I've been drooling all over it and going, oh, I'm just going to take it out and use it. But I've been fighting the urge so that I can do an unboxing video, because for some reason, people on YouTube like to see shit come out of boxes. So that's what I'm going to do for you. This right here is the Elgato Game Capture HD. This is hopefully the solution to some of my gaming problems that I've been having, especially posting videos for you guys. This is a USB 2.0 device that has an HDMI pass-through, and this will allow me, hopefully, if I read all the fine print online, I should be able to connect this to my MacBook Pro 17-inch, and I should be able to have that computer be a dedicated recording mechanism while I'm gaming. That way I don't lose frame rate by using fraps, and I don't have to screw with any of that software shit. I can just plug this into my MacBook Pro, inline it with my center screen here, and I should be able to record my Xbox, and I should be able to record my PC game footage. And then later on I can edit my mug into it, doing my bits and all that stuff. But this is my screen capture solution. So let's go ahead and open up this box and take a look. I had to get me some scissors. Alright. It's a pretty nice box. It's all nicely shrink wrapped and what you'd expect. Let's see here. Everybody's doing these fancy ass boxes now, I've noticed. It's like, whatever happened to a box where you just open the lid on the damn thing and the contents are in there. Now it's like a book. It looks like something you gotta slide out of here. Alright. Get this Rubik's Cube on the road here. Ooh, ah. Now you got this thing, looks like a book, so then that opens up. Alright, fan-freaking-tastic. Got the capture device, which is actually pretty small, about the size of my hand, pretty portable. Get started. Open this side to access the quick start guide. Oh, I'm guessing this is the quick, that's funny, they wrote quick start guide on the quick start guide, like, open this for the quick start guide. Here it is, it's on the back here. For PlayStation 3, you got to do some special shit with like cables, and you got to do component out and a bunch of stuff, because Sony is like so scared of piracy that they have to put DRM on their HDMI. I think it's like HDCP shit. So, damn you, Sony, damn you. So any PS3 footage that I grab probably isn't going to be the same caliber as the HDMI footage, but who cares? It all gets uploaded to YouTube anyways, and the compression sucks. Alright, so in the box, let's start off here. Let's take the shrink wrap off this thing, because they wanted to keep it all shiny. This guy right here, hopefully you guys can see that. Looks like on one end you got an HDMI and a USB. On the other end you got an HDMI, you got that shitty AV in thing, so A and V in for PlayStation 3. And that's about all there is to that box. That's pretty sweet, pretty straightforward. It's got some little rubberized grips on the bottom so they can like sit on the desk and not slide around. Wonderful. Looks like we have that quick start guide. We have another little guide in there. Alright, cables. Looks like we have... Let's see, what the hell is this? Alright, here we have some proprietary ass looking connection. I'm guessing that's for the PlayStation 3. And it looks like it converts it to the AV in plug. So... thanks again, Sony, for your proprietary ass shit that we have to work around. But that's okay, at least it does it, right? So that's better than nothing. I looked at some internal capture solutions. I thought about getting like one of the Hauppauge cards or one of those other guys. But it didn't make a hell of a lot of sense to me, because the whole idea is for me to get my frame rate back and keep this computer untouched while I'm playing games. And if I put the capture card in the computer and I'm capturing to the freaking hard drive, 1080p, it's going to eat a shitload of CPU for the, even if the card does the hardware compression, it's still going to eat a shitload of CPU trying to stream all that data to the hard drive. So I figured, no, I will just have my dedicated laptop sitting on the side, and that's all it'll do. Alright, looks like it came with another HDMI cable, which is nice, and now you can just disconnect one from the TV and inline this, and that way you don't have to have more cables with you. Looks like we have another AV cable here that converts it to red, green, blue component and left-right audio. Looks like they've got all of our bases covered here. And we have a USB cable that goes from, I think it's Type A to Type Mini A. Shit, I don't remember. Just go check a chart on Google. So, that's everything that's in the box. You can see it's empty. It's just got some crap in there. Let's go ahead and close it up. It's funny, you guys like broke me of destroying boxes. I used to love destroying boxes, and now you guys are like, no, don't destroy the box, no. I think that was just for mice, but still, now I can't help it. I actually like keep the boxes in pretty decent shape, and try not to throw them away, which my wife gets pissed at me for because then they just pile up in the attic and she can't get to any of her shit. So, thank you very much. I was pulling my breakout box out over there. Get back in there. Okay. So, let's get started with this. Obviously, it didn't come with any software, so we probably got to go to the webpage and download the shit. So, I will figure that all out. This mouse pad thing is pretty badass. You should go watch my other video. It's the what is it? Myonix or Myonix Sargas 900. Shit, who names these companies? Anyways, it's a badass mouse pad, but it also seems to double well for doing stuff like this, unboxings. It's a nice, soft pad that I can just put everything on. So again, recap, got the HD capture unit, got proprietary ass cable to make Sony happy, which is right here. Got an HDMI cable, got a USB cable, and standard component cables so you can record like 1080i from like legacy, older systems. Come to think of it, none of the legacy systems really did support this. All right, so phase 2. I shall go get the MacBook so we can hook this thing up and see if it works. All right, guys, this has been a royal pain in the ass to set this up and film it, but here we go. So there's the unit. I have it in line with the TV, so there's the HDMI cable coming in from the computer to the center monitor, and then it goes out through the other side and into the back. Then the USB cable comes off right here, goes across the desk, and into the laptop. And you can see right now I have a live feed on the screen of what's going on the center monitor. It's pretty cool. The software is nice. Just got a record button down there. You just set some settings, and you're good to go. The downside was it records audio over HDMI. The problem with that is you have to have the audio coming out of the television, or you have to have a stereo receiver that picks up the signal through PCM and plays it through the speaker so that it can record it and you can hear it. Well, I don't have a PCM receiver, so what I ended up doing was switching to analog. You can tell it to record over analog, left and right channel. I have this come over to my breakout box. I put an audio splitter on there, one to my headphones and one coming out and going to this guy. So now it picks up the audio that I'm hearing through my headphones and records it in real time with the video. So, it's a little more complicated than I thought, but so far it actually works. There's some noise and distortion in the video, you'll probably notice, and that's just because I have this really crappy old cheap connector. It's like a little 99-cent connector. I'm going to get some more expensive, better cabling. But right now as it stands, I can have this laptop. All I have to do is plug in one USB cable to it and those two little audio cables, and it can record all of the audio I'm hearing through my headset and the video in 1080i. Now again, that's not 1080p, but it's still 30 frames per second, so you'd be hard-pressed to notice on YouTube. Okay, here you can see I have the laptop right now connected up to the screen. I'm sorry about all the noise. I had to use the little camera. Big camera wouldn't fit in that area. But you can see it lags a little behind, but through the USB cable it's actually watching what's going on this screen right here. So even though I got all three screens running, it's just capturing the middle screen. I'm just trying to get some game footage from a couple different games. So right now it's recording, and it's recording at 10. I think it records at only 1080i. That's like the max bandwidth that's supported over the USB 2.0. But the video pass through is zero lag in 1080p. So I'm actually still getting a 1080p signal to the monitor, which is really cool. Now the audio I couldn't capture over HDMI because the only way to do that would be have HDMI sound coming out of my monitor. So. Well, it's hard to talk when I can hear the game in the background. The sound's still coming out of the television. But basically, I'm recording the sound of the computer over analog. So you hear the HDMI sound coming from the TV, but I'm actually capturing from analog on here into this. So I had to put a splitter on there. I had to do a couple things with my headphones. It's a little bit of a pain in the ass, but in the end, I'm able to actually capture video live using the laptop, which is pretty cool. Shoe mount guy. But that should kind of give you an idea of how it works. Alright, here's some actual footage that was captured using the Elgato Game Capture HD. This is capturing at 1080i through USB 2.0, and this is actually the MacBook Pro running Windows 7 that's capturing this video as I was playing. And I'm actually not playing right now. I recorded the video first, and now I'm just kind of talking over the top of it. But some things to note about it is the quality of the video is really, really good, but the audio pretty much sucks. And the reason why the audio's got that noisy static in it is because of the quality of my cables. I'm doing everything through analog cables, since I don't have, like, you know, an HDMI audio source in my man cave. However, if you're recording Xbox, it's not a problem because you can just have the audio go through HDMI and into your stereo, and you have your 5.1 surround sound, and everything's all good. But, so that's a little caveat of my man cave. I kind of was hoping that it would have optical pass-through or something like that. It actually doesn't. But, so it's a little bit more of a cable nightmare. Some other caveats to the device that I found were you have to have a USB cable plugged into it, and it has to be powered. So you have to have the USB plugged in all the time, even when you're not recording. Because if you don't power the device, it won't pass through the HDMI, and you'll basically just get a black screen, and that pretty much sucks. So now, every time I'm not recording video on the MacBook, I basically have to unplug it and then plug it into the hub on my desk so that it gets power so that it'll pass through the signal. There's also a few other caveats to consider here, and I'll get to those in just a moment. I just want to see another one of these kills. And I get killed right there. I totally knew that was coming. Damn it! I suck at Battlefield so bad. Let's get some footage from a different game. Alright, here we have some 720p footage. The reason why it's 720 and not 1080 is because I decided to record on my machine this time. So now I got the USB cable just looped back into the man cave computer while I'm playing the game. And the software was really buggy for some reason. When I ran it on the laptop, it worked fine, but when I put it on mine, anytime I saved the default video save location from C user's video over to like a different drive, it crashes. If I try to change it to 1080p, it crashes. So I have to go send mail to Elgato and send them the dump files from it so they can figure out why it's so fragile. But even though it's recording at 720p right here, I didn't notice any noticeable drop in frame rate when I played this game and the next game that I'm going to have up after this. So I'd have to say that even looping this device back with the hardware I/O and everything actually isn't that detrimental. So if you don't have another laptop, you can literally just plug it right in the computer and have the computer record the footage in the background. It doesn't seem to affect anything even in the slightest. So I think that's actually really cool. Now keep in mind, I do have 2 SSDs in RAID 0, so if you have a slow hard drive, it could impair some things and cause some caches to get clogged up, etc. But I'm guessing you're probably not going to have any problems. And even in 1080p, I can't imagine that you're going to have too many problems, because I think the Elgato unit itself does the live encoding of the video, and I think it's 12 megabit per second or something like that. It's about 10 minutes a gig to record at 1080i, which actually isn't bad. So, and as you can see from this, I mean, the footage is pretty good. I don't really have any major complaints about the video quality. I think the video quality is good. My major complaints are just with the way the audio has to be hooked up to record on the computer, the fact that the unit has to be powered. The other problem I wanted to tell you guys about is for some reason, if you plug the unit in to USB power, the screen comes up, it's in 60 hertz, but then you run into a problem where you have like this hazing on some of the fonts where it looks like rainbow pattern and stuff. Things just don't look right. But as soon as you open the Elgato software, it basically blanks the monitor and brings it back after initializing, and everything looks right. That when you close the software, it blanks the monitor again and comes back, and guess what? It's rainbowed again. So that's another bug I got to report to them. Just horrible. All right, let's try another one. All right. Now for our last one, we'll just do some Borderlands footage. Again, 720p for the same reason, just because I'm having software problems on the man cave computer itself. But the laptop was easily capable of running the 1080i video, and with the audio, didn't have any problems there. So continuing on where we left off, the device does definitely have some quirks. The software is pretty buggy, as I'm finding out. The reviews that I read and saw on the device, I mean, said that it worked pretty flawlessly, but keep in mind those were being used for Xboxes and PlayStations, and I'm a little bit off the beaten path, like using the computer to record the computer. But they did say it was possible. I mean, it is supported. It's just not really advertised. Again, though, having the big pluses that you have here with this is the video quality. I think is pretty damn good. You're not going to record at 1080p. I mean, you'll have to get an internal PCI Express card to do that. But for videos you upload to YouTube, you're probably not going to notice that much of a difference, seeing as YouTube's capped at 30 frames per second. The audio. If you've got your audio over HDMI, like on an Xbox, or you have your computer doing HDMI audio out to a receiver, not a problem at all. But if you're like me and you have it going out through analog, make sure you have good cables, good connectors. If you're using splitters, use high quality stuff. Otherwise, you're going to get the noise like I'm getting in this video. I don't fault Elgato for that, but just definitely be aware that in this scenario, you're going to want to use headphones. You're going to lose your 5.1 audio if you're on the computer, unless you have a stereo receiver with the HDMI and all that stuff. And then, of course, the other caveats that we've already talked about is it does have to be plugged into USB to have power. You do have to open the program to get it to render the pass-through correctly. If you just close the program, like even if you open it and just close it, the screen reinitializes and it has some sync issues. Like you can see some rainbow effects in the text and things like that. And it's really odd. I can't see what would cause that, but for some reason when their software opens and it initializes it, whatever it's telling it to do cleans up that signal, and it looks perfect. There's absolutely zero lag on the monitor through the pass-through, so it's like the pass-through is non-existent. The software is incredibly easy to use. I haven't checked to see if it supports hotkeys for stopping and starting the recording, but it supports editing, sharing on YouTube. It has the ability to encode MP4, has the ability to upcode and downcode to like 720 to 1080 and 1080 to 720. All that stuff it can do internally. So the software itself is pretty powerful. It's just, in my opinion, buggy, and hopefully Elgato can tell me that these are all known issues that they're working on dealing with. For me, the biggest issue so far using it, out of everything that I've talked about, is the fact that I have to leave the software open. I basically have to open the software and just leave it minimized to have the middle monitor render correctly, or I have to go get a coupler so that I can unplug the unit and plug the coupler in between the two HDMI cables, so I don't have to keep reaching behind the monitor, because my monitors are pretty hard to reach behind. You guys have seen my setup. So, is it better than an internal dedicated capture card? Because you can't do the 1080p, so that's kind of a deal breaker. I don't know how the internal capture cards handle the audio capture. I'd imagine that they're semi-limited just like this, but they can probably capture from any source that the computer can handle, the computer can send out to. So that's probably another perk of going that way. But the downside is if you want to record Xbox, this is cool because you can actually use an HDMI switch and run your Xbox and run your computer and run all those things into it. With the PCI dedicated card, you can still do that, but you have to have your Xbox next to your computer with the PCI card. With this, you can throw it in your laptop bag, go to your friend's house, hook it to his Xbox. So the big pro is you have the portability. And the other thing is the cost. I believe the Elgato, it was about $179 versus the dedicated capture cards, which the good ones are over $200. So, honestly, with everything I've seen right now, I kind of wish I had have got a dedicated capture card, because I happen to do have my Xbox close to me. But this was one of those options where, it seemed really, really good, and I wanted to try it out. And I can't honestly say I'm glad I did. I hope I kind of took a bullet for the team, so to speak. But until Elgato fixes some of the problems with this device, I definitely wouldn't recommend it. I'm not going to return it. I purchased it. I will use it. I'm going to use it in future videos. But to be honest, if you're looking for a capture solution, you probably want to go for a dedicated PCIe capture card. So I hope this was informative to somebody. Alright guys, this has been one of my tougher reviews for sure, and tough videos to put together because of all the cabling and technical stuff that I had to do. This one definitely took a chunk of time away from me. But I hope it leads to you guys being able to make a better decision about your purchase. What it comes down to really is this little device here, the Game Capture HD by Elgato. Has some work that needs to be done, and I'm going to make sure I send them mail to kind of light a fire under them. because the fact that the software is unstable on my Windows 7 64-bit install, when I try to do some, I've got exact repros. I can crash it 100% of the time. If I go in and I change the folder where I want to save the videos to, it crashes. If I go in and change it from 720 to 1080p, it crashes. So I can get them to debug information so they can look at that and figure it out. But the problems I didn't see when I purchased the device, and I hope you guys avoid, is that you do have to have the USB cable powered. You do have to have the software open to get the image to look right on your screen. Otherwise, if it just passes through without the software, like if the device is just powered alone, it has some rainbowing effects. I can't really show you on camera because YouTube's not high enough fidelity, but the text itself kind of, like, the color shifts. Like white text will be white, and then purple, then blue, then white, then purple, then blue. And there's like a haze to it. As soon as you open the software, it goes away. You close the software, and it comes right back. So that's just, you know, that's just horrible experience. The video capture quality is really good though. Even when you capture audio over HDMI, unfortunately I didn't get a chunk of that in the video, and I apologize for that. The HDMI audio capture was brilliant. It sounded wonderful. The audio levels were good. The picture quality was good, as you can see from the clips that I had. Ignore the static in the audio. That's 100% because I have, you know, cheap connectors and cables connected to my breakout box. I think one of the cables I dug out of a box from, like, you know, the 1980s. So I don't really expect it to be in top-notch quality and not bleed interference. So if you want to give it a try, if you're recording Xbox, if your goal is to record Xbox, I believe this is the thing that you want to get, because there's nothing easier. You bust out your laptop, you plug it into it, it'll work on a relatively low-powered machine, and it's got good video encoding quality, it's got good audio encoding, and it's very easy to connect an Xbox. You unplug the HDMI cable, plug it in one side, plug the other side, and you're pretty much done, and the USB cable just goes to your laptop. And, you know, it came with a wide assortment of cables, so I'll give them, you know, high points for that. And the device is small and portable, and that's what it should be. But the thing that it's lacking, the big reasons why you don't want to buy this device, is if you do want that 1080p, if you do want that flawless 1080p capture, you need an internal capture card. You just do. The bandwidth requirements are high. But realize you're going to have more data, which means more storage, which means you're not going to be able to fit as much video onto your hard drive. So take those things into consideration. Another thing that you definitely want to consider when you're buying this is, are you going to have it permanently connected to something? Because if you have it permanently connected to your Xbox, if you're going to wire it into your system, you need to make sure that USB cable is always plugged into something. If it's not plugged into a laptop or a computer, it needs to be plugged into a power brick into the wall. Because if you don't, you're going to be like, why the hell don't I have a signal on my TV? And then the other thing is delay. The capture is not real time. The capture is delayed by a couple of seconds, like you could see from the low quality video segment I worked in. You could see that there was a visible delay there. So you wouldn't want to play on the laptop. Like if you're expecting to be able to watch the capture output and play the game from the capture output, you're obviously not going to be able to do that with this. I don't know if any capture card's really going to give you that capability, but I thought that it would be cool, because if you were playing Xbox, you could have it pipe it out to the laptop, and then on the screen you could sit there and like actually play. You know, I don't see any practical application for it, but it'd be kind of cool anyways. So you do have that delay to deal with. So all in all, it's a good device. It's 179 bucks, which seems a little steep considering the problems that it has. But I'm hoping that once I contact Elgato and they've had a chance to see this video, and they take the data and the dump files that I provide them for my crashes, that they'll be able to better improve the software, and hopefully they can release a firmware update or something to this device so that when it's plugged in line, it can pass through the video properly without the software having to be opened. And I'll get some high resolution pictures to send them there. So I hope this video gave you a nerdgasm. This one was a pain in the ass to make, and I pumped a lot of time into it. So if you liked it and found it helpful in any ways, please give me a thumbs up, throw it in your favorites, and subscribe to my channel. If you think it was a total waste of your time, I apologize deeply. Leave me a comment. I'll reply with your apology. So hope this gave you guys a nerdgasm. Until next time.